The living room smelled like expensive wine and cheap perfume. 8 of them, her friends, all gathered around our coffee table like vultures circling something already dead. They watched me with predatory eyes. My wife, Rachel, sat at the center, arms crossed, chin raised. That look, the one she gave salespeople who annoyed her, the one that said, "You're beneath me." She slid a folded paper across the table. "Sign it," she said. Her friends giggled. One of them, Melissa, whispered something behind her hand. They all erupted into laughter. I picked up the paper. Household rules and expectations. My name at the top, her signature already at the bottom. I read in silence. No unapproved purchases over $50. Permission required for nights out. Household finances managed solely by Rachel. The list went on. 13 rules, each one designed to castrate me in front of witnesses. "Well," Rachel's voice dripped with satisfaction, "sign it or we're done." I looked up slowly, studied her face. This woman I'd married 6 years ago, the woman I'd built a life with, supported through grad school, held during panic attacks, loved unconditionally. And in that moment, watching her smirk while her friends waited for my humiliation, I felt nothing, just cold, crystalline clarity. I smiled. "I'll take the second option." Her face froze. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out the manila envelope I'd been carrying for 3 days, placed it gently on top of her list. "Divorce papers," I said quietly, "already filed. You'll be served officially tomorrow." The room went silent. Rachel's mouth opened, closed. Her fingers trembled as she picked up the envelope. You're joking." "Read page 4, the asset division." She flipped through with shaking hands. I watched her eyes widen, watched the color drain from her face. Her voice cracked, "This says you're keeping the house, the investments, everything." "Prenup," I said simply. "Remember? The one you signed without reading because you were so eager to marry me?" Melissa leaned forward. "Wait, what's happening?" I ignored her, kept my eyes locked on Rachel. "You should have been more careful about a lot of things." 3 weeks earlier, I'd come home early from a conference, found her phone charging in the kitchen, unlocked. I'd never looked before, never had a reason, but that day, something told me to look. The messages were organized, methodical, a group chat called Girl Power. Months of conversations, plans to domesticate me, to put me in my place, to make me controllable. Melissa had sent an article, "How to Train Your Husband Using Social Pressure." Rachel had responded, "This is perfect. I'll do it at the next gathering." They laughed about it, planned it like a performance. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was discovering the other chat, the one with Marcus, her yoga instructor. 6 months of messages, hotel receipts, photos I'll never unsee. I sat in our kitchen for 3 hours, didn't move, didn't cry, just calculated. I hired a private investigator the next day, documented everything, installed recovery software on our shared cloud, downloaded every deleted photo, every message, consulted 3 lawyers, found the best. The prenup was ironclad. Assets acquired before marriage, including the house I purchased 2 years before we met, remained mine. Joint accounts could be frozen pending investigation of fraudulent transfers. And there had been transfers. Rachel had been siphoning money into a separate account for 8 months, $47,000, preparing her exit while planning my humiliation. The investigator found something else, too. Marcus wasn't just her lover. He was married to a lawyer. I contacted her personally. We had a very productive conversation. Cold confrontation. Back in the living room, Rachel's hands shook so badly she dropped the papers. "You can't do this," she whispered. "We can talk about this. Can you explain, Marcus?" I asked quietly. The room temperature dropped. Her friends shifted uncomfortably. "Or should I explain?" I pulled out my phone. "I have photos, messages, hotel receipts. Would you like to share them with your friends, the ones who helped you plan this cute little intervention?" "Please," her voice broke. "Please don't." I stood, looked down at her, this stranger wearing my wife's face. "You wanted rules?" I said softly. "Here's mine. You have 72 hours to remove your belongings from my house. Anything left becomes garbage. Your lawyer will receive full documentation of your financial fraud, and Marcus's wife, Amanda, will be filing her own suit. She appreciated the evidence I provided." Rachel's sob cut through the silence. One of her friends stood. "This is cruel." "Cruel?" I turned to her, cold, steady. She planned to humiliate me as entertainment, cheated for half a year, stole $50,000, and I'm cruel for protecting myself? No one answered. I picked up her list of rules, tore it in half, let the pieces fall on the table like snow. I walked out of that house, didn't look back. 3 months later, the divorce finalized. She got nothing but her clothes and her shame. Marcus left his wife, but Amanda took him for everything in their settlement. Last I heard, he and Rachel moved into a studio apartment together. Funny how that works. I sold the house. Too many ghosts. Started over in a different city, different life. People ask if I'm bitter. I'm not. Bitterness requires emotional investment, and I invested everything I had in a woman who saw me as something to control, humiliate, and eventually discard. She thought she was playing chess, didn't realize I'd already flipped the board. Sometimes late at night, I think about that moment in the living room, the look on her face when she understood, when she realized the trap had already closed, and I smile, not from joy, from the cold satisfaction of knowing I chose myself. Finally. She wanted rules. I gave her consequences.